Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar was just announced in the Nintendo Direct to release in August of 2025. As an avid Story of Seasons farmer myself, I cannot wait for this game to come out, so I figured, why not play the original to hold myself over till the Story of Seasons game comes out? So, let's get farming. In Grand Bazaar, you the player starts off by coming to Zephyr Town, a town which has a weekly bazaar which used to be quite popular back in the day, but has then been since going downhill. That is, till we show up. And the town gets more excited about the bazaar and has high hopes that it can become as popular again as it once was. So, we start off the year in spring. I name my farm Cherry Farm, clearly noted from the sign that I created. We get a watering can, a couple turnip seeds from Felix, who is the town mayor, and we get to work. After the turnips are planted, I head off into Zephyr Town to meet the villagers and figure out who my future husband is going to be. I ended up choosing Ivan for this playthrough, and it's important to note in this game, one of the criteria for marriage is to also get your heart level up with their family members, because in this game you just can't whisk them away. You actually have to be friends with their family. But luckily for Ivan, we just have to be friends with Dirk, who is his little brother, but for some of the other characters, you need to up the friendship with 2 characters. One of my favorite parts in Story of Seasons / Harvest Moon games is marrying one of the villagers. I enjoy the heart events so much and learning about the characters on a deeper level. Usually the marriage candidates are locked by whichever gender you select at the beginning of the game, so I'm hoping in the remake that it'll be a bit more open. As I'm exploring the town, I buy a few more seeds and fertilizer, plant those, and head to bed. Throughout the first week of spring, I really don't do much. I water and fertilize my crops, explore the town for any sort of collectibles I can pick up to then sell for more seeds, plant those, and then head to bed at like 10 a.m. So my daily routine consists of watering and fertilizing my crops, talking and giving gifts to Ivan and Dirk, and collecting whatever I can that's sitting on the ground, and then going to sleep at like 10 a.m. The time has finally come for our first bazaar day, and I've never played this game before, so I did not know what to expect on the bazaar days. The game automatically took me to the bazaar festival and gave me the lowdown about how everything worked, but I didn't get any of the turnips that I grew, so I had to race all the way back to my farm and get them. Running the bazaar was actually super fun. You promoted your stand by ringing the bell. There was a chance to have interactions with people and the villagers to up your stall's reputation, and I loved it. I didn't have much to sell, but I thought I did half decent. I made 4,000 gold in just the first week of playing. I also learned that the goal for the sales was between 15 to 20,000, which is insane. But it doesn't matter how much you make at the festivals, it all stacks up, so there's no need to stress. I used my newfound money to invest in a chicken, which I appropriately named Nugget, and the next day I went to town to hear the results for the bazaar. I thought I did half decent until I learned that the person in 3rd place got 17,000 in gold. So, I guess I wasn't the pro salesman that I thought I was. On the 8th of spring, it was the flower festival, just a day of giving flowers to everyone, so I participated the best I could, collecting as many as I could, and gifting them to everyone that I seen. And when it came time to announce who gave out the most flowers, it wasn't me. It was Marion, stupid Marion, giving out the most flowers, and I didn't even get one. So I just went home and fell asleep. The next few days went pretty similar. I bought seeds, watered my crops, talked and gave gifts to the villagers, and picked up everything that I could. Nugget eventually grew up into a full chicken and started laying eggs, so that was awesome bonus money. And I bought a lot of potato seeds with my gold, and I have a lot of crops ready to go for the next bazaar. We had our first heart event with Ivan on spring 18. We noticed him watching the fish in the water and just went over to chat. He says that he's been reading a lot about fish and wanted to observe them. He then asked if we were interested in fish, and we agreed, of course. He was glad to hear that, and we gained some friendship points with him. On our 3rd bazaar festival, Ivan was obsessed with us. He kept talking to us over and over, and then buying all of our items. Like, okay. On spring 23, Isaac came over to Cherry Farm and told us that he was fixing up the windmills, and the one on our farm is now ready to use. The windmills in this game is essentially what allows us to craft items. There's 3 of them in total, and this one allows us to ferment and create things like cheese, butter, wine, and even make fertilizer, which will come in handy. Spring 26, my millions of turnips finally grew just in time for the next bazaar festival, and I learned, thanks to Google, cooking your turnips into turnip salad increased the selling price, so I was about to make bank with my 29 turnip salads. I cleared the goal that Felix set with a whopping 18k in gold. With my newfound money, I was able to buy a baby cow, which I named Milta. I wanted it to be Miltank like the Pokemon, but the game only allows you to use 6 characters, so that was the best I could do. The next day, when the town gathered for Bazaar results, I actually got first place, and I was so excited I couldn't wait to see my prize. I bet it's gonna be so good. I got milk. Milk. I was scammed. I got this town 18k in gold and they give me milk in return. Are you serious? But now it's summer and everything is great again. There's new forageables on the ground, new seeds to plant, and new events. I spent the rest of the money I had on radish seeds, so hopefully I can make money at the next bazaar. Summer 2, Felix came for a visit and gave us a fishing rod, so now we can do some basic fishing. I spent the rest of the day tending to my animals, watering my crops, collecting forageables, and talking to some villagers. My daily routine gets quite repetitive because this is a farming game where all you do is farm. But I'm also that laid back type of farmer who doesn't maximize my day in energy by doing everything possible. I just do the bare minimum and then go on to the next day. So from now on, I'll just talk about the important events. Summer 4 was another bazaar day and I used my earnings to buy a brush for my animals and got some tomato seeds. They regrow after so many days of harvesting, so this will be a good staple income. Summer 10, we had our Purple Heart event with Ivan. We show up to his house to find him in his parents' library. He tells us that he reads the books there and then tells Dirk what the books were about since he doesn't read very much. He also mentions that he's taken over the parent role for Dirk since their parents passed away, and then figured we may as well talk about something else because it's kind of depressing, but we tell Ivan that it must be hard for him to take on that role, and he thanks us for understanding and he just wants to make sure that Dirk grows up right. The next Bazaar day, we made money! We got 12k in gold and we buy a bell to herd animals that I never use, a chicken we named Tendy, and some chocolate. And for some reason, I don't use it, it just rots away in my storage. Summer 14, we meet 2 new people, Chen and Gannon, who introduce themselves as new stall owners at the bazaar. Chen, a merchant, and Gannon, a carpenter. So that's neat. New things to buy. Summer 17, we unlock the second windmill. This one allows us to upgrade our tools, craft necklaces, and other things for gifts. Milta finally grows up. It takes baby cows 20 days to grow up, so it's been a long time coming and now we finally have some milk production. I ended up making a lot of the milk that I got into cheese, thinking it would bring in more profit like in the other farming games, but that's actually not true. Cheese was 150 gold and then regular milk was 280. So make that make sense. I also got another chicken named Strip. Do you see where I'm going with my chicken names? Summer 27 was our Blue Heart event with Ivan. We found him on the bridge in town, lost in thought. He tells us that he had to scold Dirk and lost his temper and just felt really bad about the whole situation. We tell him sometimes things like that just happen. And he agrees that people do lose their temper from time to time, so he goes and apologizes to Dirk. And he also mentions that talking to us makes him feel better. In fall, I felt like things were finally starting to come together. We upgraded our storage to hold another page of items. We have a lot of crops growing early season that regrow, and our animals are thriving. We eventually reach green heart level with Ivan and purple with Dirk, so we are slowly getting there. Our goal is to get Ivan to red and Dirk to green. Not a whole lot happened in fall. Felix came over to tell us on the 23rd of fall we have a wine festival, and it's the farmer's duty to bring the wine. So he gives us a bottle to bring just in case we didn't have any, which is good, because I didn't. Fall of 22, we unlock the last windmill, and this is the one that's gonna bring in the big bucks. This windmill allows us to create seeds, and I learned after a Google search that crafting grass seeds is the easiest and best way to make money. But it can also be a little cheaty, but I don't care. I've been so poor buying Ivan salads that cost me 800 gold a piece. I want money. I want to upgrade my storage, get a bed, and they're both very, very expensive in this economy. And then I also kind of forgot about the windmill for a few days. I did buy another cow at the bazaar, and I spent a pretty penny because I wanted the adult cow. Because I didn't want to wait for her to grow up, so I named her Moo Moo. I also had the most happy customers at the bazaar, and I got flour as a gift. Not pretty flowers I could put in my house. Flour. For cooking. Thanks. The wine festival was fun. Basically the whole town, minus the children, got together and had wine and food. I finally remembered about the grass seeds and got a bunch of those in the works. We had our yellow heart event with Ivan, our last one for now. We basically pull up to his house, find him cooking Dirk's favorite meal to make up for an argument that they had earlier. He says that their mom was a good cook, and he wants Dirk to have someone cook good food for him too. We tell Ivan straight up that he needs to be more like a brother to Dirk. It sounds a little harsh, but that is the option that gives us the most friendship points. Ivan is like, maybe you're right. I do need to be more like a brother now that he's older, so he can have someone he can talk to. And he thanks us for realizing that, and tells us that we are a kind and wise person, and he wouldn't know what to do without us. I died. He's so cute. Fall 30, we put our grass seeds to the test, and they sold for 560 gold a piece. And they cost maybe 90 gold to craft, so this was a big profit for us. I literally don't care how cheaty it is. I want money. We actually blew the Bazaar goal out of the water with 55k gold. And we bought lots of pasta salad for Ivan, a larger bed, a frying pan, a pot to unlock more cooking options, and I also got a sheep I named Fluffy. We came first place in the Bazaar results, of course, and guess what we got? An olive. Fall 31 was the Pumpkin Festival, which is essentially Halloween where you give sweet treats to the kids of the town. And it was actually really neat because at certain times throughout the day, the kids actually come to your house. So I cooked up some pudding for them. And then it was winter. The year was almost coming to an end. In year 2, we should be able to get the blue feather for marriage. There's no crops that can grow in this season, so I plan on making some grass seeds for money, upgrading tools and storage. Ivan went up to an orange heart level, and Dirk is still at blue, so we need both of them to get up one more heart level, and then we're set for marriage. A neat feature of this game is the fact that it also has like rival heart events. Like you can see Freya and Ivan have heart scenes together, which sparks my jealousy just thinking about it. But looking them up, they happen quite late into the game. Like there's some in years 3 and 4. Winter 3, Felix gives us a snowboard and tells us to practice because there's a contest where there's a beginner and an advanced course. And oh boy, is it hard. Google says that in order to win, you need to have a time less than 5 seconds, and I don't know how I'll be able to do that. But YOLO, I guess. Winter 4, we have a new visitor in town. Felix introduces us to Amir. He came to town and is secretly a prince, and only we know about that for some reason. But Felix wants us to get him used to town. Amir is also a bachelor that we can marry, but that's a lot of work and I've already committed to Ivan. Throughout the majority of winter, I spent most of the time grinding for grass seeds, upgrading my tools. I eventually got Ivan up to a red heart. So once spring comes around, we'll be all ready to get married. Winter 20 was the snowboarding festival, and you can guess that it went exactly as expected. Winter 24 was the Starry Night Festival where we can go on a date with someone and have a meal, so of course we invited Ivan to come with us, and it was a super cute little moment. Spring came around and we got the blue feather from Ethel and Stuart, so I went racing to Ivan to ask him to marry me, and it was such a cute moment. He accepted my proposal and we both went to Dirk to explain everything to him, and it was such a cute little loving brothers moment. So our wedding was scheduled for 7 days after, and we got married with the whole town present. And once we were home, Ivan said that he loves seeing me every day, and I died on the spot. And now I feel like my life is complete. Now there's also some stuff for year 2. We do unlock the horse track, which is the area to the left of the town that was blocked by boulders. We can eventually have kids and they'll participate in festivals such as the Pumpkin Festival, and of course upgrade our farm, get cats and all of that, but I don't want to do that. But all in all, Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar was such a cute little game. It didn't feel too repetitive to me, and it was just a fun little game to relax to and enjoy the characters. I'm so excited for the Story of Seasons remake. I've already pre-ordered the premium edition with all of the little extras, so we can unbox that together and play the game. I'm hoping there'll be some quality of life updates, such as the events and festivals being a little bit more fleshed out. I felt like in this game they were pretty short. The whole game was also based on gaining as much money as possible for the benefit of the town, but the rewards for actually doing good were pretty underwhelming. And after looking on the wiki, you really don't get much out of your Bazaar being the top rank either, but I enjoyed this game nonetheless. And I have high expectations for this remake, so thank you all for watching this farming adventure. Which Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons game is your favorite? I'd love to chat with you about it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!